On this channel, we have a lot of videos teaching you how to ride these free skates, and in basically every single one, we emphasize that
you're gonna wanna find an area with a slight downhill slope,
a very slight decline,
a slight angle.
Please find a decline.
If you don't find a good spot like that to learn, it can really delay your learning progress.
What if you simply just don't have a hill? So that's what this video is going to be about. First, I think it's important to discuss why you would need a hill in the first place. It's going to give you speed. Just like if you're riding on a bike, it's going to be hard to balance and you're going to topple over unless you have some speed. So that's why the following points are going to be different methods of giving you speed so that you can learn to skate and eventually pump.
So the first method we're going to go over in this video is pushing off the back toe to start. This is probably the most common method I see out of like every free skater, and I think the most common error is people rushing to step onto the skates. Take your time, place each foot nice and centered in the middle, toes down to start, lifting up the front foot, and remember as you push off of that back toe, keep it level and keep your weight nice and secure on the skate so it doesn't fall away or drag off as you push. A very important tip with this method is to bend your knees, anticipate all the power coming from that back toe, and to keep secured to that back skate as you push. This method is probably 10 times easier with a hill, so just remember, give it your all if you're on flat ground, and after enough practice, it's something that's achievable for everyone.
Pushing off with your toe is fine, but because you're on flat, it's only gonna get you so far, and that speed's gonna run out, and that can be kind of frustrating. So this next method is going to allow you to keep that speed going as much as you want, and that's gonna be by using a wall. Coast yourself along with your hands, and the first problem you might run into is splitting. We explain how to fix this in our other beginner tutorials. It's gonna be a lot of toes together and toes apart. Now, as you're pushing off and splitting, experiment and try pointing your toes one way. One of those is going to help them slot back together. So if my feet are splitting like this, if I try toes together, they're just gonna further split. So I need to do the opposite. And the goal is to just keep going straight for as long as possible. Ideally, you don't wanna rely on it too much. It's always gonna be there to help you, but try and increase the time between like pushes. So ideally, you're spending less time pushing off the wall and more time just trying to stay straight and balance on the skates with the speed that you're gaining.
So if you don't have something like a wall that goes on forever, but you do have a little object like a bench or a car, you can still use it to your advantage and it will provide more power than the back toe push to start. But each object will have its limitations. Like this bench is only so high, so I'm gonna have to lean over and push off of it to start. As you set up, you might wanna set up on the back side of the bench here, and then maybe get one pull, 2 pulls to get more power than just one. Say you aren't able to skate along this side of your object and you only have just a little pushing point from just the back. That also works. Just keeping the wheels in a straight line to start so that they have an easier time going straight. You don't wanna have them like in a toes together or toes apart position whenever you're pushing off from any of these methods, because if you do, they will go into a complete split, like Gabe just said. One of the most important parts is just setting up with your wheels in a straight line, bending knees, anticipating the speed you're gonna get, and then giving it your all with however you're pushing off, but then maintaining your balance as you go. So this was actually one of the first methods I ever used to learn free skating. I pushed off of one of my family members' cars, and here I am today. How do we use these? Do you know?
I don't know how to use these.
I'm gonna look up a YouTube video quick.
No, this is the YouTube video.
No, it's okay. In order to teach you, I need to learn.
No. Okay, let's go. Another great way to learn how to ride these on flat is by using a friend or family member. If you don't have friends, hopefully you have a family member to help you learn to use these. And we're gonna show you how that looks. So if I'm a beginner, I'm gonna step down, toes down, just like normal. But then I'm gonna have my friend Jack here help me out. Thank you, Jack. And, oh, we're going switch. Okay.
Yeah, I want to teach you.
Okay, so walk along with me so you can get me speed. So Jack's giving me all my speed now. An important part of this is I'm not relying too much on Jack here. So let's, like, if we go forward, you see how I'm leaning all the way forward? You need to stay composed. So let the person know that they need to stay kind of close to you so you can keep your composure, and they also need to stay with you. So I can't be over here relying on Jack. He needs to catch up with me and you guys need to stay like in line the whole time. But just like with the walls, you can't rely on your friend too much. So eventually when you get enough speed, like really give me speed, you want to let go to practice skating without the friend. Thank you, Jack. Even if the person doesn't even know how to skate, I feel like I've had people point things out in my form, or like I'm leaning that I didn't realize I was doing. So ask your friend maybe for any input on what it looks like you're doing wrong.
Another set of eyes goes a long way.
But because people can run fast, this is arguably going to be the best option for speed. Aside from maybe towing yourself behind a car, I wouldn't recommend that. Don't do that. The people option is enough. Just make sure you eventually let go and practice the ability to stay upright, because that's going to be how you eventually learn how to pump.
Yeah, don't be too self-reliant on your friend, but definitely use them for the speed. All right, so this next method is really popular with skateboarders, at least that I've seen, and it's pushing off and getting speed and catching with the back foot to start. One thing that's really great about this method is you get to push off of the back foot and it gives you a lot of speed really fast, but the downside is having to have precise target practice with that back foot. Just like all the other methods, we're gonna wanna leave both the skates in a straight line so that we can have an easier time balancing when we try to catch the skate with speed. I would start as close to the skate as you possibly can, and the better you get, the further back you can start. So know your limits and progress accordingly.
So once you get speed using the method of your choice, that's great, because now you can practice learning to pump at least a little bit. And that's gonna involve pointing your toes together and apart and switching in between those two positions. We could talk about that in this video, but we do have other videos on pumping. So I'll link all past and future videos that we're going to film about pumping anywhere up here. Thanks for watching, and I hope this video helped. Roll with us.